Hello. So, I just completed a video and it's uploading now about what I suspect. And at the end of it, it's leading me to the subject of treasure in heaven. It all kind of fits in with what I suspect, but seems to me to be a topic that should be left on its own, to stand alone, because I think that it is inside the idea of laying up treasures for yourself in heaven is a good motivator for actually building the world that I see as possible for us. So, when I say to you, laying up treasures in heaven, just take a minute and ask yourself what you think that means. What actions do you take in order to lay up treasures for yourself in heaven? For me, what I see is that anytime I do one of these things, talk to you about whatever is on my mind, if I am doing it for motivations like likes, shares, confirmation of my beliefs and understandings found in other people, things like that, that is acting for things in this world, that is of the world. When I come to these videos with the intent of trying to explain and help and grow the consciousness of other people's, if I make any success whatsoever in that regard, if I help you in any way to grow your consciousness and be free of the restraints this world puts on it, that is laying up treasures in heaven. It isn't something that needs to reinforce my beliefs. It's not something that needs to reinforce my ability to conquer the world or buy something shiny. If it instills in you growth or the potential for growth or just the potential to overcome something that's holding you back, that is enough motivation, and that is what I consider laying up treasures in heaven. But there is an unrealistic, something that can't be confirmed in the materialistic world. See, I suspect that the secret history of the world is accurate in some ways, in that we were once far more idealistic. The problem with our idealism in that state of our consciousness was that we didn't understand the materialism or the materialistic nature of the world we were operating in spiritually or idealistically. The secret history of the world says that we started out idealistically and we have to go through this long slog of materialistic existence. I suspect that the technical understanding gained through the materialistic existence of this world, the hardened materialism of this world, gains us technical understanding of what we once had. We gain, like, if you were just looking for the future in some kind of animal guts, looking, the bones say, you didn't have a proper understanding of the technical and material nature of what we were working with. But since we're now going through this era of materialistic hardening, we gain the technical proficiency to understand the world as it leads to our next era of spirituality, of idealism. In other words, we had idealism without technical understanding. Now we gain the technical understanding, lose the respect for the idealistic understanding, and then we move towards a new idealistic understanding with technical proficiency. That's what I suspect the plan is, because we are on this long, slow slog. This long, slow slog that started with fallen world. So what does it mean to exist in this hardened materialistic world and move forward trying to build yourself treasures in heaven. I'm kind of ambitious in my meditations. I am trying to change the world from this materialistic perspective back to the idealistic perspective, and probably I'm doing it prematurely. Maybe this isn't meant to happen for a long time yet. But if this flame of spirituality and idealism needs to be kept alive, according to the secret history, it's meant to be kept alive in the West. That's us. Then my function must be to continually show respect for what has come before and what will likely come again. In other words, to keep that flame alive. I have said that in our world right now, just laying around for the taking, there is a lot of glory. There's a lot of legacy just waiting to be had. Let me try to frame that with the perspective of treasures in heaven. In other words, if I am looking for the next, I described the next Elon Musk that I was looking for in the last video, so I guess I'll have to re-explain that one too. But when I say that I am looking for the next Elon Musk to build this world, and then I say that that perspective is wrong, because the next Elon Musk of this world, to build the world I am looking at, must be a distributive property. It can't be a figurehead. It has to be someone who understands that they are using their power, their influence, and their energies to build a world that expands the consciousness of the collective. I want you to understand, because I'm looking for this person, that by taking the power and glory that would have been yours individually and turning it into a distributive property, you are not laying up treasures in this world. You are laying up treasures in heaven. Right now, those of us that believe in God and have power, authority, and influence, but only use those things to glorify themselves, you are laying up treasures here. No matter what you're thinking about, no matter what your hopes are, those actions are based in a world where the world is the driving factor, not what comes after this world. What I am designing in my meditations and in these talks is a world where food, housing, energy, all of that are not issues, where those are just a given. It's just, why would you even worry about that? Everybody has that already. That is the world I'm trying to build. And within that world, the consciousness, the state of mind of the people inhabiting it are free to grow and express themselves in ways that aren't influenced by survival, aren't influenced by, oh, I have to do what I have to do. I have to mislead people and I have to lie to people in order to gain my power. And then once I have my power, I have to protect my power. That is of the world. That's not of God. All of those actions are not laying up treasures in heaven. To be able to influence and alleviate those fears in others, that is laying up treasures in heaven. To allow those the individual minds to grow and flourish, not out of fear, but out of hope. That is laying up treasures in heaven. In other words, I'm not looking for the next Elon Musk. I am looking for a distributive property that is given by the proper use of power and materials, influence, or see, we have in the world, it wasn't new with Reagan, this trickle-down idea, but it is the trickle-down idea of our economies is of the world. That is not of God. That is not laying up treasures. That is strictly here and now. And most of the people that agreed with it have understood that because they have died. Imagine living this life and being so successful, so powerful, so influential, dying and finding out that you had all of this potential to lay up treasures, but instead you wasted it. I don't have money, influence, and power. I don't want those things. In fact, if I reach somebody who understands this and runs with it, you don't need my help at all. I will sit here in my environment and continue to do this work. I don't need to be rewarded for it. Not in this world. This world has nothing left to offer me. Stop fighting for your power. Fight for other people's power. That is how you grow consciousness. Granted, this system has worked. It has gotten us this far. But I have said, look, we understand two of the replicators in this reality, memetics and genetics. I strongly suspect that there is at least one more replicator that has to do with power generation. I strongly suspect that discovery is easier to make in my model than it is in the current existing model. I think the current existing model will discover it, but the amount of bullshit we have to go through to get there is just unnecessary given the amount of knowledge and data we have now. What are you laying up? I often wonder what it is other people see when it comes to the afterlife, because it was one of the things that stopped me from being able to see this side of the argument. What was related to me about the afterlife was so small, so lacking in vision, that it could not have been from a creator. It had to have been suppressed by the individual sharing that understanding with me, because they were stuck in this world. I had to be able to break out. Isolation is really good for some things. Discovery is one of them. And without having other people's tainted understanding of what comes after this world in my face constantly, and just having the time to reflect on it by myself, was ultimately what was necessary for me to see and appreciate it. I wonder if that's not true of the people who operate in good faith in this world with power and influence. If they are not held back from doing the work that I see as possible because of everything you have been taught to understand is delivered to you in a form that is corrupted. You need to be able to step back and reflect and meditate and talk with God before you can actually see it. That disconnect is valuable. That ability to isolate is valuable. And I think when you are constantly concerned with gaining more power, protecting the power you have, you essentially hobble your ability to actually build and lay up treasures in heaven. I think that there are lessons for us to overcome, and this is the one we need to overcome to move forward.